unceded traditional territories of the Coast Salish nations of Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh.
Good afternoon. My name is Riley Cunningham, and this is BCIT News. Here are your final news headlines of the day. Starting off with a startling forecast, be sure to keep your umbrellas at the ready. Our reporter Nate Elms has more on the incoming Metro Vancouver weather.
Environment Canada says that Vancouver residents should expect significant rainfall accumulation beginning this evening and overnight. The incoming weather system is expected to deliver between 50 and 70 centimeters of rain in areas of higher elevation, including the North Shore, while Metro Vancouver will receive lower levels of around 30 to 40 centimeters. Despite Environment Canada's expectation that the North Shore mountains will see snow accumulation, alpine enthusiasts may be left wanting. Snowfall forecasts for Mount Seymour, Grouse, and Cypress max out at 12 centimeters of accumulation overnight. Environment Canada's special weather statement does not fall under the new color-coded alert system rolled out in late November 2025, as conditions are not expected to be severe. Nate Elms, BCIT News.
As of this afternoon, the weather warning has now been assigned as a yellow alert under the color-coded weather system, meaning hazardous conditions may cause damage, disruption, or health impacts. Metro Vancouver residents can find tips to stay safe during severe weather from the Public Safety Canada website. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro made his first court appearance this morning in New York after his capture on the weekend, pleading not guilty to drugs and weapon charges. As a result of the political turmoil, shares in the biggest Canadian oil sands producers dropped today after U.S. President Donald Trump said he had plans to put Venezuela's oil industry into the hands of American companies. Michelle Zadikian with the Canadian Press has more.
Cenovus shares fell nearly 5%, Canadian Natural Resources was down 6%, and Suncor fell a more modest 1.5%. Meanwhile, U.S. oil companies rose. Venezuela has large oil reserves, but its industry is in disrepair after years of neglect and international sanctions. U.S. President Trump says he wants American oil companies to help rebuild Venezuela's oil industry, giving those companies more access to those reserves. Michelle Zedikian, the Canadian Press.
President Maduro is set to appear in court again on March 17th. Edmonton is being called the frostbite capital due to a sharp uptick in amputations over the last 2 years. The Albertan city sees temperatures ranging from 5 degrees to negative 35 degrees Celsius throughout the winter, and exposed skin can begin to become frostbitten after 30 minutes at minus 15 Celsius with wind chill. A group of healthcare workers are ringing the alarm about the public health issue after seeing 120 amputations in 2024 from frostbite alone. The homeless population in the city are among the most impacted. The city of Calgary is still repairing a major broken water main in the northwest of the city after it burst last Tuesday. The city issued water restrictions and boil water advisories for several communities that were lifted on Sunday, but Mayor Jeremy Farkas said things will continue to change for Calgary's water future.
But until that work is done, we need to change how we think about water. Not for a few days, not only during emergencies. For a while, this is how life will be. We are now living in a new reality.
The broken water main is set to be fully repaired early next week. There is no timeline for thousands of people anticipating a return home after a major power outage on Pimachikamak First Nation over a week ago. Pimachikamak Cree Nation Chief David Manias says that more than 4,000 people were forced to leave the community and have been staying in hotels in different parts of the province. Although power has been fully restored, water plants, pumps, tanks, and pipes froze after the outage and have yet to be fixed. This is the fourth time in 5 years that residents have had to leave home due to wildfires and extreme weather. And Manias says he has asked the province 3 times in the last week to declare a state of emergency so the community can receive immediate help. Moving on to sports. Canada will play Finland this afternoon, right now actually, for the chance to win the bronze in the World Junior Hockey Championship. And Czechia will face off against Sweden this evening in the gold medal game. Canada once again misses out on gold and silver at the World Junior Hockey Championship after their loss to Czechia in the semifinals last night. This is the third year in a row that the Czechs have booted Canada from the tournament after being bested by the Canadian team in 2023 to lose the gold medal. The Toronto Blue Jays are said to be introducing their latest free agent signing tomorrow in Japanese slugger Kazuma Okamoto. Gregory Strong with the Canadian Press says it's been a good offseason for the Jays.
This is, just another good news story in what's been a notable offseason for the Blue Jays, who are suddenly, spending big money, getting big name free agents, making a lot of noise, when in previous off seasons, in many cases, they've come up short.
In addition to Okamoto, the Blue Jays have already announced signings of pitchers Dylan Cease, Tyler Rogers, and Cody Ponce in recent weeks. American offensive lineman Chris Schluger signed a 2-year extension with the BC Lions today. Schluger started 14 regular season games at right tackle last season and was approaching free agent eligibility on February 10th. He helped BC lead the CFL in scoring with 29.8 offensive points per game. Schluger previously played with the Montreal Alouettes from 2019 to 2022. Canadian hockey superstars Connor McDavid and Marie-Philippe Poulin will be donating personal jerseys to support the Great Canadian Jersey Campaign. The campaign, hosted by telecommunications giant Rogers, is encouraging Canadians to drop off jerseys at participating Rogers stores across the country until January 15th. The jerseys will then be stitched together to represent all facets of sports and the country's deep history with the game by former OHL player turned fashion designer Cameron Lizotte and worn by Canada's top hockey players. The International Ice Hockey Federation president, Luc Tardif, says he has confidence in the completion of the main arena for the Milan Cortina Olympics despite construction delays. He says he thinks games will go ahead as planned.
We can be confident on that. You're not going to go in Milano for nothing. We're going to have a fantastic tournament.
The men's tournament begins on February 11th and will feature NHL players for the first time, and the women's event will start February 5th. New York Giants general manager Joe Shane says he's glad to have had the opportunity to continue the team's build-out at a news conference today.
Early on I made mistakes. I'm fortunate to have great ownership here where you're allowed to stub your toe and try to course correct. And over the last couple of years, we've been able to add a franchise quarterback. You've been able to add a number one receiver in Malik Neighbors, who, again, I'm looking forward to getting him back. And there are, the defensive line, the pass rushers. There's pieces in place that also make this an attractive job.
This will be Shane's 5th year with the team, and despite a poor performance the last several years, he remains hopeful for the future. And as the Kansas City Chiefs prepare for next season after missing this year's playoffs, questions remain about the certainty of star tight end Travis Kelce's future with the team. Kelce himself said after the season finale that he's not sure if he'll return for another year.
Who knows? Either it hits me quick or I got to take some time. I think last year was a little bit easier. I think I knew right away I wanted to kind of give this one a shot. So I don't know. We'll see.
Kelce has spent 13 years with the team, managing 3 Super Bowl wins along the way. If you're feeling down from the latest bug, you're not alone. Health experts are saying the flu virus is spreading faster than in previous years, and they're seeing a concerning peak earlier in the season. The Canadian government is reporting over 11,000 cases of influenza A, with a new update coming later this week. The last report comes right before the holiday season kicked off, with data reported on December 20th showing positive tests, outbreaks, and hospitalizations all trending upward. BC's provincial government continues to recommend getting immunized against the virus, practicing good hand hygiene, and staying home if you feel unwell. Speaking of the flu, the Trump administration continues to reduce the number of vaccines that the CDC recommends for children. Despite the outcry from doctors, Washington continues to move forward with the controversial decision. ABC's Stephen Portnoy has more.
The move leaves in place CDC's long-standing recommendations that all children be vaccinated against such viruses as polio, measles, mumps, rubella, whooping cough, chickenpox, and HPV. But the new recommendations say shots for RSV, hepatitis, flu, COVID, and meningococcal disease should only be given to children in high-risk groups or on a doctor's advice. As the American Academy of Pediatrics blasts the move, officials insist the new guidelines put the U.S. in line with peer nations and won't have any impact on what insurance would cover.
The Canadian government does still recommend the immunizations. A woman has died after being struck by a driver in Maple Ridge earlier today. Ridge Meadows and the BC Emergency Health Service responded to the accident at 5:30 this morning near the intersection of Lougheed Highway and Lady Street. Despite life-saving efforts, the woman died of her injuries in the hospital. The beginning of January is a ripe time for New Year's resolutions. Our reporter Gabe Liesi spoke to a fitness coordinator to get some tips on how you can stick to yours.
New Year's resolutions are often made with the best of intentions but can be difficult to fulfill. Fitness is one of the main areas around which people make these resolutions. Melissa Samatovich is a fitness and wellness coordinator at BCIT and says one of the main reasons people don't stick to their goals is because they are too lofty. She says people need to rethink how they make their resolutions.
Pick one small thing and just stick to that one for whatever, 2 months, 3 months. And then if that's going well, pick another small thing.
Samatovich says it's less about making big life changes and more about making incremental progress. Gabe Liesi, BCIT News.
Those were your final news headlines of the day. I'm Riley Cunningham, and you're listening to BCIT News. Be sure to stay dry out there tonight, Burnaby.
Stay tuned for more on BCIT's 1680 The Crow.
I would recommend this program for anyone that isn't sure what kind of job they want in media, because you learn everything from like public relations to communications to video editing, like radio, TV. So you do get a lot of experience in all the different fields in media.